Good morning, Menifee. I'm Doug Spoon with Menifee 24/7, welcoming you back to another edition of Good Morning Menifee on this Wednesday, April 3rd. Many of you may have seen yesterday on our Facebook page our live stream of the press conference and meet and greet reception at the new Menifee City Hall for the new Menifee Police Chief, Pat Walsh. He started officially yesterday and will be working for a little over 14 months on the creation of the Municipal Police Department that was recently approved by the City Council. There was a huge crowd there, a lot of other law enforcement. You can go back on our page and view the entire press conference and the comments made by Chief Walsh and several dignitaries. After that, we were able to get a personal interview with him and ask Chief a few more questions, so we wanted to bring that to you now. Before we do that, we want to let you know, and it was mentioned yesterday, there's going to be a town hall April 23rd at 6 p.m. at Case Ceniceros building, Case Ceniceros Senior Center. And that will be an opportunity for all of you to come and listen personally to Chief Pat Walsh and to ask him questions. They are going to have a series of these town halls in the next few months as they move forward with the creation of the new police department. Here's your first invitation, and we will keep you posted as more dates are announced. But let's go back to yesterday and the conversation we had with Chief Pat Walsh. So we're with Pat Walsh, the new police chief for the still being created Menifee Police Department. You mentioned this a little bit, but we had been told too of your passion for, when you're at Lompoc, and getting out in the community, meeting the people, and working on things like the homeless. And can you talk a little bit about what drives you to do that kind of thing and how that translates to our community?
Well, I think a couple of things. So first off, you know, I'm everybody's police chief, so getting out in the community makes a lot of sense. And so I would walk around a lot and just. I need to walk more, but I would walk around a lot and meet people, and then I started community walks where we would just put it out on our app on Saturday morning at 10 o'clock. We're going to walk for an hour in this area. We'd meet at the high school, and we'd walk around a neighborhood, and people would come out of their houses like, who are you guys? What are you doing? And we'd just say hello to them and have conversation and give the kids stickers, and then the Boys and Girls Club would come and tell the parents, hey, your kids after school can come, you know, and then other people would come, and it just became an event that people loved, and the community loved it as well. And my thought about that was, there's some gang issues. So my thought is, if we can get those kids in those neighborhoods to go to the Boys and Girls Club and play together, when they're older, maybe they won't commit violence against each other. And so that was the theory. But a lot of good things came out of those community. Anytime you get out of your house and you're talking to people and introduce yourself, a lot of good things. I saw people, you know, see their pastor and start going back to the church because they haven't been going. I've seen people get jobs. I saw a lot of things happen in those little conversations. You know, as far as the homeless, you know, California has a big problem with the homeless population, and you know, that was part of our community. And so, you know, my thought was, hey, these are people that, rather than just push them out of the city so that the city's cleaner, we went to them and said, we are going to evict you from the riverbed, but we're going to create a situation where you can come to the park and stay there for 30 days, and we will throw everything at you to get you back on your feet. And it was difficult, but there was no pushback because we helped people. You know, 33 people got reacquainted with their families, housed, shelter. A bunch of people got drug treatment. One lady who was being human trafficked in the river, we got her into a 2-month drug program. She's back with her husband and 3 children. They're happy. Life's back on track. So I think, you know, you got to treat the most vulnerable in your community as humans and part of your community and help them. Because, you know, so for me, homelessness is not a crime, and neither is being mentally ill. And so as the government and as a community, we got to figure out how to deal with folks that are in that position. And you know, a lot of it was tough love. It was tough love to make them leave their area, come to come to the park, but now we all know each other by name. And when I see them, a lot of them got jobs in town. They're like, "Hey, Chief, what's going on? How you doing?" And I'm doing great. And so that's my philosophy. I think you just got to figure out what the problem is and attack it the right way.
The city of Menifee's been very proactive in addressing that issue too. They have a homeless task force.
Yeah.
The sheriff's department has been very good. So it sounds like that's going to be a good fit for you coming in.
Yeah, I think it's I think it's important, because if you ignore the issue, then it could blossom, and then it gets untenable. It was very untenable where it came from, because there's just so many folks for such a small town.
Right.
So yeah, I think not arresting people really doesn't solve a lot of problems. I mean, there are people that will arrest that do bad things, but there's other ways to solve problems, and that's the kind of officer I want to hire.
Right. And a lot of the things that we hear here on social media from our residents are about the response time, the length of the response time, and the fact that they don't see a lot of officers patrolling.
Right.
Yet the motorcycle officers are always there to give them a ticket. And this is a city of 40 square miles?
Yeah.
So even I know that the plan is for more officers, more boots on the ground.
Right.
So how do you implement that in such a widespread city, and a city that's really evolving so quickly from more of a rural to kind of a little bit of both?
Well, I think if you have more officers, it's going to cut your time down, because there's more and they're closer. They're closer. They're in their district, and they can come, become. And then you measure it, and you talk about it, and you figure out how to deploy, and we'll come up with a deployment plan, and we'll come up with a lot of programs. But I don't, once we do that, then we got to look and see if it's working. I think you always have to measure, and if it's not, figure out why and tweak it. And so. We will definitely be monitoring that.
So you resigned from Lompoc in January. So can you talk about what went into that decision?
Well, I came into Lompoc, and there was some change that was needed, and so I would consider myself a change agent for that department. And so I made a lot of changes and changed a lot of processes, and as a leader, you got to know when it's time to go. The department, the community, we were really doing well. I got it to where it needed to be. I handed it off to a phenomenal chief, a lot of experience, bilingual, and so he's a good fit, and it was the right time to have him take over.
Right. So what appealed to you about this position? The challenge of creating your own department, or the location, or what?
Well, a couple of things. Location is beautiful. I do have my in-laws live 2 hours away. I have a family that lives in Temecula, a family that lives in Redlands. We have a family, my in-laws that are here have a place in Palm Springs that we go visit a lot. So there is beautiful to me. The ability to create your own police department is just unheard of. As a matter of fact, these chiefs out here, we all talk. The one guy that's here, he's my friend. He was considering it too, because what an opportunity. It's just an incredible opportunity. And the town, Menifee it really is the buzz. Whether you know it or not, people are talking about Menifee.
Now, you had mentioned that the great relationship that all the law enforcement agencies have, that there's no hard feelings between Menifee or this department and the sheriff's department.
Right.
But one thing that the sheriff's department did have a little trouble was providing enough officers, because they had to train them through the academy. So you mentioned this earlier. Could you explain the difference of how you won't have that problem in hiring? So
to stand up a police department, you have to hire police officers that are trained already, because we don't have anybody to train a new person. So the first couple of years, you will have, from the top down, people that know how to do the job. And so we'll put together a couple-month program just before July 1, 2020, to get them to do the things we want them to do, so they're all working as a team. And so that shouldn't be a problem. And if they're experienced, then they're making a decision to come to Menifee and probably stay. A lot of new recruits, they don't know what's going on in police work. You train them up, and then they're like, hey, I'm a trained police officer, and they start looking. and they get farmed out. Lompoc, a lot of officers went to Santa Maria or Santa Barbara, and they're paid more, but I don't think that's going to happen here, because you're going to recruit police officers who are trained and want to come here. And trust me, my phone's ringing off the hook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, one more question. There's a lot of things that you'll have to deal with in the next year. You're hiring people, getting vehicles, getting the police headquarters building set up and all that. Is there one thing that's your priority, or one thing that you want to get done first, or are you working all of them simultaneously?
Well, it's all kind of chaos, but it's controlled chaos. And the very first thing that we have to do is we got to get a couple key players, maybe a captain, a lieutenant or two, and executive assistant, to kind of keep us all on track and make sure we document everything we're doing. Once you get that team, the team so far, Dave Baker and Charles and Gina and actually the whole city team, hey, we're behind you guys. What do you need, Chief? This is my first day, and they're all saying, what do you need? The fleet guy, he's got all these studies, he's showing me that. It's incredible. They're way down the road. I have to catch up. So, but we're gonna do it one step at a time, and we kind of have a timeline. And once we get that a little more solidified, I'll be pushing some of that out to the public, because I think they deserve to know. So. And you're going to have a town hall on April 23rd. Yeah.
So another chance for the community to come meet you.
They can come meet me. I'll tell them who I am, where I come from, my vision and philosophy, and they can ask me anything they want.
Great. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Chief.
thank you. Thanks, Doug. It was nice to meet you.
Again, we would like to thank Chief Walsh and the City of Menifee for making that possible for us yesterday. And we want to remind you again of the town hall scheduled April 23rd, 6 p.m. at Case Cenicero Center. Between now and the next year from now, or actually July 1st, 2020, when the Menifee Police Department officially becomes functional, we will keep you abreast of all the developments as new hires are made, and some of the other things that need to happen to bring us this municipal police department that has attracted so much attention statewide. In the meantime, the Sheriff's Department will continue to provide police services for the next 15 months or so, while Chief Walsh assembles his police department. So stay tuned for more details here and on our website, our Facebook page, our print newspaper, as we continue down this path toward this momentous occasion. That's it for now. We will see you again next time on Good Morning Menifee.